as well as the ultimate yield of the crop. Selection of best plants for planting and taking care of the plant by watering, weeding, proper shade maintenance, and other all ongoing practices belongs to this category. Especially because of the erratic climatic conditions, agronomy and plant science research are very much important today. So we cordially invite Dr. A.L.S. Dharma Parakrama, the former Additional Director General Research of the Department of Export Agriculture, to serve as the chair of this session. People who are joining with us today, physically, Zoom and through physically and Zoom, you can actually participate during the question and answering section. Thank you.
It is with great pleasure and honor to introduce our esteemed chairperson of this session. This distinguished individual is not only a non-expert in the field, but also a dedicated research scientist who has made a significant contribution to the advancement of knowledge in his area of expertise. During more than 30 years of dedicated service in the Department of Export Agriculture, he has introduced a number of improved use of varieties and selection of export agriculture crops for the betterment of this industry. Dr. Dharma Parakrama is a past student of the Faculty of Agriculture, University of Peradeniya. He further obtained his Master of Philosophy degree in plant breeding from the same university. Dr. Dharma Parakrama completed his PhD in plant science at the University of Natural Resources and Applied Life Sciences in Vienna, Austria in 2006. Beyond this impressive academic pursuit, Dr. Dharma Parakrama also demonstrated a profound dedication to fostering collaboration and knowledge exchange. He has served as a mentor to countless emerging researchers, guiding and inspiring the next generation of scientific minds. Today, we have the privilege of having Dr. A.L.S. Dharma Parakrama as the chair of this session. Over to you, sir.
A slight reminder to the presenters. If you are available physically during the question and answering session, you have to come to the podium and actively participate during the question and answering section. If you are joining through Zoom, you have to be on alert and during the question and answering section. And over to you, sir. Thank you very much for the introduction. And also, thank you very much for the organization of AGF 2023. Actually, I'm very happy to be here to share this first session on this Symposium of the Export Agriculture Cup 2023. So I think this is fifth symposium, and we started the annual symposium in 2012, and as the first coordinator of this symposium, I'm very proud to be here, and I am very proud to see the development of this series of symposium. So after 2018, I think we are in very difficult stage. Now we have very good condition now to handle this kind of symposium. And
And now, you all know we are having some technical experiences, and now we are going now technology to have this symposium. So without time many time left, so I will conduct this session. So these organizers are now able to conduct this event online program. So the first session is on agronomy, and it has five presenters, and each presenter will have 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Each presenter have 10 minutes and 5 minutes for the discussion. That is the format. And so I would like to invite for the first presenter. First presentation is the identify the optimum harvesting age for ginger rhizome acid material using sprouting percentage and vegetative data. It will for the author, I don't know the presenter. The presenter is Peradeniya Yatawat. So this I will explain some highlights. This research was conducted to determine the best harvesting age of ginger rhizome based on the vegetative growth and sprouting stage, the percentage. The results reveal that the best vegetative growth and sprouting of ginger was obtained with the seed rhizomes of 8 to 10 months maturity, while growth performance of plants raised from 7-month-old seed rhizomes were significantly inferior. So this is the highlight. So we will see her presentation. So I will invite Mr. Peradeniya Yatawat now.
Good day to all panel members and the participants. My research is on the identifying the optimum harvesting age for ginger rhizomes and seed material using sprouting percentage and vegetative data. I am Peradeniya Yatawat from Central Research Station Mawatha, and these are my collaborative researches. This is the content of my presentation: introduction, justification, objectives, materials and methods, research and discussion, conclusions, and references. Ginger is known as one of the most profitable high-value crop in the world because of its unique pungency, taste, and medicinal value. Sri Lanka has good potential with suitable soil and climatic conditions for ginger cultivation. And there are some major growing areas of ginger cultivation, and they are Kurunegala, Kandy, Gampaha, Nuwara, Kega, and Kalutara. The global production of ginger is around 4.3 million metric tons per year, while the Sri Lankan production is only 42,019 tons per year. The harvesting age of ginger is normally determined based on the physiological stage of ginger leaves. That means when they are turning into yellow color and cause to the senescence, and based on the size of the rhizomes. Based on these two methods, the harvesting of ginger seeds, ginger for the seed purpose, is done at 9 months after planting by farmers. But because of the adverse climatic conditions, it's caused to the early senescence of ginger from 7 months after planting onwards. This caused to produce immature seeds, and storage problems. And the other thing is the low availability of seed rhizomes with correct maturity also happening. And because of this low availability, the cost of production of ginger is increased. The research says 40% of cost of production of ginger is allocated for the purchasing of this ginger seeds. And the other problem is there's no any study was done to identify the maturity and the best harvesting age for ginger, mainly based on the sprouting percentage and vegetative growth in Sri Lanka. Therefore, this research was started to identify the maturity and the best harvesting age of ginger rhizomes based on the vegetative growth of the ginger plants, and to determine the sprouting as an indicator of rhizomes maturity. This is the materials and method of my research. The location was Central Research Station, Mandalay, and I used local ginger variety at 1,500 kilograms per hectare seed rate, and seed treatments was done using the mancozeb fungicide, and the beds were solarized before starting the experiment. This research was carried out as two experiments. For the experiment 1, that is ginger seed planted at different times and harvested at the same time. For this experiment, as the pre-experiment, I prepared ginger seeds with different ages. That means for this experiment, I have planted seed rhizomes at different time and harvested them at the same time in order to obtain seeds at 7, 8, 9, and 10 months after planting. Then those ginger seeds with different ages were replanted in July 2019, and all the measurements were taken at the period of cultivation, and it was harvested in May 2020 at 10 months after planting. Then the sprouting percentage was obtained at 30 days and 40 days after planting, and other vegetative data is also collected at each 2 months interval. For the experiment 2, ginger seeds planted at the same time and harvested at different times. These ginger seeds were, that means age of 10 months after planting, were planted synonymously with the experiment 1, and that means in July 2019, and harvested in different times in February, March, April, May, and May 2020 at 7, 8, and 9 months and 10 months after planting, and kept them in corridors under the shade for 3 months, and all the sprouting data and vegetative data were gathered up to 3 months for the experiment 2. This is the experiment details. Randomized complete block design was used for the both experiments. 3 replicates for each treatment and 44 plants for each replicates were used. These are the 4 treatments: 7 months old ginger seeds, 8 month old ginger seed, 9 and 10 months old ginger seeds. Let's we move to the results and discussion. First, the sprouting percentage. This is the average sprouting percentage at 30 and 45 days after planting for the experiment 1. That means ginger cultivated using seeds of different ages and harvested at the same time. For both methods, for both stages, that means 30 and 45 days after planting, the same results was obtained. The lowest sprouting percentage was obtained with the seed in the plant that arised from the 7 months old ginger seeds. There's no any significant difference between other 3 treatments. This is the sprouting percentage, average sprouting percentage at 30 and 45 days after planting for the experiment 2. That means ginger planted using 10 months old ginger seeds and harvested at different time and kept in the coir dust for 3 months. In this experiment also, the same pattern was observed. There was no any significant difference between 8, 9 and 10 months after planting ginger seeds, but the lowest average sprouting percentage was obtained with the plants obtained from the 7 months old ginger seeds. This is the average plant height. The same pattern was observed for the 4th month after planting 1 month. At the beginning, there's no insignificant difference between the treatments, but when we are coming for the later part, at the time of harvesting, there were significant difference between treatments. That means the lowest average plant height was obtained from the plants of 7 months old ginger seeds, and the highest plant height was obtained with the 10 months after planting ginger seeds. Then when we are coming for the average plant height for the experiment 2, the same pattern was observed at the beginning, that means 1 month after planting, but at the latter part, there's no any significant difference between the treatments. This is the average number of leaves for the experiment 1. From the 4th month onward, the same pattern was observed. That means the lowest average number of leaves were counted with the plant obtained from the 7 months old ginger seeds. Same pattern was observed for the experiment 2 also. At the 3 months after planting, the lowest number of leaves were counted from the plants obtained from 7 months old ginger seeds. The same pattern was obtained for the average number of tillers for the experiment 1 as well as for the experiment 2. Here also you can see the average number of tillers is lower for the plant obtained from the 7 months old ginger seeds, and there's no insignificant difference between 8, 9 and 10 months old ginger seeds. From these results, we can come to the conclusions. The vegetative growth and sprouting percentage of ginger were affected by the harvesting age of the seed rhizomes, and ginger seed rhizomes which are 8, 9 and 10 months old should be used for better sprouting ability and vegetative growth. Immature ginger seeds less than 7 months after planting is not suitable for cultivation purposes. These are my references, and thank you very much for listening for my research.
Thank you very much for the nice presentation, Mr. Mawatha. Now the presentation is open for the discussion. And for the audience, so the online viewers, so you have 5 minutes for the discussion today. So you can ask any relevant question clarification, or you can make any suggestion in very brief manner. Thank you. This time for you. Yes. Yeah, one thing to clarify, did you use the rhizomes only, or did you use mother rhizomes? It has to be both as a mixture.
Yeah, that's for the ginger. Also, we separate as did you ask about the for the result?
No. For seed material.
Okay, material. Yeah, both. As a mixture. I will as some farmers are using, and like I can use both. we will separate.
Varni, your presentation, so that the Sri Lankan production, water production, annual production, 4.3 million tons. Is it correct?
42,000, sir. So that's why obtained from the SKO statistics.
Your production of Sri Lankan
Sri
production,
Lankan production, sir.
42,000.
No, 42,000 tons. But,
That I think millions also. Yeah. Millions.
that's for world production.
Okay.
That's in 2020, actually. I did this research in 2020, so I prefer the statistics in 2020. What's the rate of the seeds of 30 you can come to the your research. I measured the yield. Yes, madam. The same results for the yield of the same pattern we obtained for the yield. Yes, I have already submitted that for another paper. That yeah, I okay.
Like viewers also can ask questions, so you can answer. You can send messages also. Messages. Any other questions? So I think no more questions. So we thank Mr. Presentation. Thank you. Next presentation is the evaluation of turmeric germplasm in low country intermediate zone and the coconut. This presentation is done by Ms. Teresa Silva. The highlights are the objective of this study were to identify the morphological variations among turmeric accessions collected from different areas of the country and to select high-yielding turmeric accessions for low country intermediate zone under coconut. It was found that the accessions collected from Galapitagala in Ampara district showed the best performance in terms of yield and morphological parameters. So I will invite Teresa Silva to present his presentation.
Evaluation of turmeric germplasm in low country intermediate zone under coconut. Content, introduction, justification, objectives, material and methods, results and discussion, conclusion. Introduction, turmeric, scientifically known as Curcuma longa, it is belongs to order Zingiberaceae and family Zingiberaceae. It is native to South Asian countries, primarily cultivated in India, China, Bangladesh, and Indonesia. Turmeric is herbaceous and perennial plant. Turmeric has mainly used as the spice in food industry and also used in Ayurvedic medicine and cosmetic industry. Oils and oleoresins are extracted from turmeric rhizomes, which are abundantly used in culinary as a flavoring agent and coloring agent. Justification. Turmeric can be grown either as a monocrop or intercrop under coconut. Coconut uses a large volume of air space and it limits to increase the crop density. Efficient utilization of air space is important. Coconut palms are generally spaced 8 into 8 meters, resulting in 70%, 75% of area remaining unproductively. Underutilized area is high when the age of coconut palm is below 5 years and over 20 years. Coconut-based intercropping farming system is important to increase the productivity of land. There is no any recommended turmeric accessions. Objectives. There are two objectives in this research. First one is identification of morphological variations among turmeric accessions. And the second one is identification of high-yielding turmeric accessions for low-country intermediate zone under coconut. Material and method. Collection of turmeric accessions. Different accessions of turmeric were collected from the district of Kurunegala, Gampaha, Kalitara, Galle, Mathara, Hambankota, Monaragala, Nuwara, Mathale, Kegol, Jaffna, Ampara, Kandy, Badulla, Ratnapura, Anuradhapura, Polonnaruwa, Putlam, and Colombo. Multiplication of turmeric accessions. Collected turmeric accessions were established in the research field at Intercropping and Bee Research Station, Naramala, for further growth and turmeric rhizome. Establishment of turmeric germplasm evaluation in field and management. This research was carried out during the period of 2015 to 2020. Evaluation for turmeric was done as an intercrop under coconut. Experimental design for evaluation field was randomized complete block design with 3 blocks. Raised beds of 10 into 4 feet were prepared and field established was done by in yellow season in month of April. Rhizomes weighing 35 grams were used for the planting. Spacing was 30 by 30 centimeters. Department recommended management practices were followed. Harvesting was done at 9 months after the planting when the leaves became like straw. Collection of turmeric data. Both morphological and yield data were collected. For the morphological data, height of the pseudostem, number of pseudostems per clump, number of leaves per pseudostem, leaf length, leaf width were measured at 8 months after the planting. 9-month-old mature fresh turmeric rhizomes of each accessions were used for the weight evaluation. Cross-sections of turmeric rhizomes were compared for color using a Munsell color chart. Results and discussion. 20 accessions considered for the evaluation. These accessions were named from T1 to T20. This table shows the accession collected district and the collected areas. This is also the collected district and collected areas. Morphological characters of turmeric at 8 months after the planting show in this table. We measured height of the pseudostem, number of pseudostem per clump, number of leaves per pseudostem, leaf length and leaf width also. This is also the morphological characters of turmeric at 8 months after the planting. Height of pseudostems. Height of the pseudostem varied from 51.3 centimeter to 85.8 centimeter. The highest value for height of the pseudostem were recorded by the turmeric accession of T13. Number of pseudostems per clump. Number of leaves per pseudostem varied from 8 to 3. The highest value for number of leaves per pseudostem were recorded by the turmeric accession of T11 and T12. Length and width. Leaf length of turmeric accession varied from 29.3 centimeter to 45.3 centimeter, and leaf width varied from 8.5 centimeter to 11.7 centimeters. Out of these turmeric accession number 13 indicated the highest value for most of the parameters. Munson color notation for rhizome of turmeric accession and average fresh yield of the turmeric accession. This table shows the color notation and the average fresh yield of rhizome and the average fresh yield of rhizome per bed. This is the same value. This shows the measuring of the rhizome color by comparing with Munson color chart. There were vast variation of colors observed among the cross-section of the turmeric accession. Color of the turmeric cross-sections were yellow, bright yellow, orange, and bright orange. According to the literature, high curcumin content appears in bright yellow and the lower curcumin content imparts a color of orange yellow. Fresh yield of rhizomes per clump. Yield variability were very high among the accession. Fresh yield of rhizome per clump varied from 465 to 1020 269 gram per clump. The highest fresh yield of rhizome per clump were given by the turmeric accession of T4 in low country intermediate zone under coconut cultivation. The second highest value was given by the turmeric accession T25 1012.5 grams per clump. Conclusions. The highest fresh value of rhizome per clump was given by the turmeric accession T4 in low country intermediate zone under coconut. The second highest yield was given by the turmeric accession T25. The T4 accession indicates the considerable amount of vegetative growth of the morphological characters of height of the pseudostem, number of the pseudostem per clump, number of the leaves of the pseudostem, leaf length and leaf width. Thrive-grown plants produce more foods using photosynthesis and give rich harvest. The T4 accession can be used to cultivate under coconut as an intercrop to increase the productivity of coconut lands. Thank you.
Thank you, Edesha. Now the paper is open for discussion. So you can ask any question, if you have any clarification, you can ask from Rita and also.
I saw the 13 some big characters, no political characters. That is found in which area?
It is from that stakeholder area.
Sorry?
Stakeholder area. Stakeholder area.
But yield data preference better.
Yeah.
Yes.
How many grams per whole something?
35 grams per whole.
Only the finger.
Weight of the rice.
Finger. Oh,
I think on the finger.
finger.
Yeah.
Based on that, we identify the ethical conditions, calculations, future study.
Yeah, we have research on what level of fertility of these exercise. It is going on.
They have done synchronization system.
Not that it started so we hope to start calculate and study of the fertility content that and the other concepts sometimes also.
Also, for this audience, if you have any questions, I mean, your authors going to answer them. We have plenty of time left. We appreciate your cooperation.
So you have got time, no? Time. You can ask any question. Can ask clarification, or you can suggest something for the development of this experiment.
I hand over this resource to Mrs. Munisi. My first was the teacher research. Those selected applicants already multiplied at nursery for the highlight. For further multiplication, after the multiplication of those rhizomes, we hope to give further goals.
That is the one. No? Yeah.
That's a message from Zoom.
Yeah.
Can you recommend a turmeric variety?
After the finishing of that multiplication stage, we can give as a variety. This variety can be used for the growers.
You can release now.
Yeah.
Variety.
Okay, Mr. Taylor, you got your answer. Any more questions?
Any other question? think based on your experience, what would be the reason behind the higher yield of these fruits? Yeah, so you can say important. Based on your experience, what would be the reason behind that? Is there a specific reason that the sample which has been taken from Ampara has given the highest result? So based on your experience, is there a specific characterization or something you have observed from your experience?
Because these people are taken, the morphologically also do the in higher in positions like number of shade of skin and the height also very high than the other expressions.
Mr. Sarat, please say, no? I think you have your time. If you have any questions.
Your question, or you are satisfied with that?
You calculate the additional income from this turmeric harvest, the additional income to coconut, in addition to coconut. What are the additional income, percentage of additional income under coconut? Coconut, additional income back,
There's a question from social media. Was there any test problems during the evaluation? Have you considered?
No, any during the evaluation period, no test that this is assessed for the turnover.
We don't know when you ask the question, by the way, but I think we got your answer.
There's another one.
There's another question. The possibility to cultivate turmeric under other crops.
In this evaluation already used under the coconut. The other plantation crops like tea and rubber, I think there is no possibility for cultivation turmeric under as a indication.
You got your answer there. Any more questions? I think we still have some time left.
Hello. 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 Hello.
Yeah.
What is the benefit to coconut by cultivating turmeric under coconut? Any special benefit? Which way?
Yes, because they are high environmental space remaining under unproductive in coconut land. This unproductive space can be utilized by growing of like turmeric like interval.
Does it
and
impart?
we also take the additional income.
Oh, okay. Apart from that, does it does it impart anything beneficial, nutrient-wise or otherwise, to the coconut?
We recommended the department fertilizers for the turmeric, and these fertilizers can be also taken from the coconut seeds also.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question?
That's fine. Thank you.
The question asked earlier in the previous, what is the benefit for the coconut?
That's right.
We have not evaluated in this experiment what is the benefit for the coconut.
Yeah.
But with other crops like cinnamon, pepper, cocoa, and coffee,
Yeah.
the Coconut Research Institute and both DEA have found that there is a benefit for coconut as well. As an example, in 2017, the Purnagala plantation, they have introduced the cinnamon in the coconut. In that time, in that block of coconut, the yield was around 55,000 nuts in that box. But after 3 years, in 2020, the coconut yield has been increased up to 77,000 metric tons, nuts. So that is the benefit. The reason is when we are intercropping these crops under coconut, the reducing of the stress,
Right.
water stress and heat stress, and also modification of the microclimate. It is benefited to the both crop, the intercropping the cocoa or pepper, or otherwise to the towards the coconut. So we have seen that, we have observed that, we have reported that there are benefits when they are intercropping. So I think that the observation of this turmeric and ginger, you can see there's a benefit for coconut as well. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, Dr. Mahina. Any other question? Now the time is 18. So thank you very much, Mr. Rekha. The next presentation is on evaluation the weight of planting materials of turmeric and their subsequent growth and yield performance in intermediate zone. The front is Managi Karnaratna. The highlight is the experiment was carried out in Urnagal district to evaluate the best weight of planting materials of turmeric on their growth and yield performance. The experiment had 6 treatments of planting materials ranging from 5 to 30 grams per planting point. According to the results, 30-gram planting material of turmeric showed the highest growth and yield potential. So I will invite Manadi Karnaratna to present presentation.
Good afternoon. I am Manadi Karnaratna and here to present my first research presentation in Asia on evaluating the weight of planting materials of turmeric and their growth and yield performance in intermediate zone. These are content of my presentation. First of all, I would like to give a very brief introduction. Turmeric, which belong to family Zingiberraceae, is an important cash crop. The higher weight of rhizomes per planting point gain, the higher initial cost for planting materials. It is loss of commercial product. The lower weight of rhizomes per planting point gain the lower initial cost for planting materials, and eventually it will reduce the rhizome yield. Therefore, size of the planting materials is critical. So the objective of this study is to find out the best weight of planting materials of turmeric for better growth and yield. Let's see the materials and methods. The study was conducted in the premises of Intercropping and Beetle Research Station in 2021 during the corona pandemic period. The design was RCBD with 3 replicates. There were 6 treatments of seed materials per planting point. T1 5 gram, T2 10 gram, T3 15 gram, T4 20 gram, T5 25 grams, and T6 30 grams. Data collection. Time for the germination, percentage of germination, number of leaves, number of tillers per plant, plant height, fresh weight of the harvested rhizomes and roots, number of fingers, terminals, and roots were collected at 6, 7, and 8 and 9 months. The data were analyzed using Minitab 18 statistical software. Let's move into results and discussion. This image has shown the harvested turmeric rhizomes of different treatments: T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, and T6. Percentage of germination and days to 50% germination. As shown in this table, the highest percentage of germination was found in T3, T5, and T6, and the lowest days for the 50% germination was found in T6, and the highest days for 50% germination is found in T1. This image also clearly showing that the T1 is having the lowest percentage of germination, and T6, T5, and T3 is having the highest percentage of germination at 30 days. Plant type. Plant type was significantly different with the treatment. At 95 days, the highest plant height was found in T6, while the lowest was found in T1. As mentioned in the previous table, the graph also illustrating that the T6 is having the maximum plant height, while the T1 is having the lowest. Number of leaves. Number of leaves were not significantly different with the treatment for some days. And at 42 days, the highest was found in T6 and the lowest was found in T5. As illustrated in previous table, the highest number of leaves were found in T6 and others are lower than T6. Number of tillers. Number of tillers were not significant difference with the treatment for some days. At 95 days, the highest was found in T5 and T5. However, there wasn't significant difference between T5 and T6, and the lowest number of tillers per bush found in T1. This graph also illustrating that the T5 and T6 having the significantly similar number of tillers per bush, and the others were lower than that. Fresh weight of rhizome yield and fresh weight of roots. The highest fresh weight of rhizome yield was found in T6 for 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, and 9 months. The T5 is having the highest fresh weight of rhizomes, and however there wasn't significant difference between T5 and T6 at 9 for fresh rhizome yield for in 9 months. Fresh weight to initial weight ratio is having the highest in T1 and others were lower than that. Fresh weight of roots were not significantly different with the treatments in 7, 8, and 9 months. As mentioned in previous table, the graph illustrating that the T6 is having the highest fresh weight of rhizomes in T6 in 7 months, 6, 7, 8 months, and the 9 months T5 is having the highest fresh weight and the T6 is lower than that. However, there was a significant difference. Fresh rhizome weight to initial rhizome weight ratio. The T1 is clearly having the highest fresh rhizome weight to initial weight ratio, and the others were lower than that, and the T6 is having the lower in 7 months and 9 months. Fresh weight of rhizomes. According to the statistical analysis, the fresh weight of roots was not significantly different with the treatments. And however, in 8 months, it was having the highest highest fresh weight of roots. Number of fingers, terminals, and roots. And the highest number of terminals and fingers were having in T6 in 6, 7, 8 months. And the in 9 months, T5 is having the highest. And a number of roots were not significantly different with the treatments in 6, 7, 8, and 9 months. As illustrated in previous table, it was clearly showing that the T6 is having the highest number of fingers in 6, 7, and 8 months. And 9 months, it was lower than T5, and there was a significant difference. Number of terminals at different months. This number of terminals was similar as number of fingers, and the highest was having in T6 for 6, 7, and 8 months, and it was lower in 9 months than T5. Number of roots at different months. Number of roots were not significantly different with the treatments, and they were more or less similar with the treatments. So therefore, as the final conclusion, it can be concluded that the highest percentage of germination, number of leaves, height of the plant, number of pseudostems, fresh weight of the roots and rhizomes, number of fingers, roots and terminals where rhizomes is higher in seed rhizome of 30 grams. However, T6 fresh rhizome yield to initial seed rhizome weight ratio is low. Therefore, it is necessary to carry out cost-benefit analysis to consolidate the findings before giving recommendations. These are my key references. Thank you.
Thank you, Manavi. Now the presentation is open for the discussion. You can ask any question.
Thank you for your presentation. I have some questions and suggestions. As we all know, there's positive correlation between weight of seed and the harvest. Why you use very low weight, just like 5 grams and 10 grams, instead of using 30 and 30 plus? Because we all know that even though there is phosphorus yield, we can bear that if we have good yield and good profit margin. Why you use that type of low weight? I think it's better to use recommended weight plus or minus. That means 20 to 40, just like that. Just like that. I think you are a student. Okay, so you have good experience, so I think you can explain.
What is your control? Is that what is your contour? Yes, you are comparing the recommended.
You can certainly see for
Yes,
a approach
variation from the recommended. Here you can. Yeah, that's why I'm saying. Yeah. Hmm. Actually, I also had the same issue with what Samanmali asked, because the department recommendation is 35 grams, but you have excluded that figure. Because there's an issue, because we recommend you use 35 grams, and in your research you haven't used that figure. So we cannot compare what we recommend and what are your results, and also what Samanmali suggested, because most of the areas, because since I am working in Nampara, I know the farmers use around, even though our recommendation is 35 grams, they use 80 to 100 grams, and they get more yield. So we have to see the correlations. I mean, the issue is you have to stop at 30 grams, but actual scenario, we have to check from, because we have given a recommendation 35 grams, and we have to check the scenario above 35 grams and identify the issue. So that is what I am also having the same issue, because even though our recommendation is 35 grams and you have excluded that figure, that is a one suggestion. Yeah.
like take some samples from our area, samples from this area, as I think you can get the advice from the Eurasia, and get samples from several locations, and we get more weight, seed weight of wheat from higher levels. Then you can the optimum weight for the material.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other?
I have one question. That's interesting research. Thank you for that. And I think you have some experience with this cultivation. You have cultivated a very low amount of seed with a high amount. What do you think about, you have used the same spacing, no? You haven't same spacing. So what do you think, your idea about seed rate, because you have changed the seed rate, like you have you have used very low amount of seeds and also high amount. So what do you think about the growth? Can you change the spacing with the seed rate? Like if you are using very low amount of seed, can you, no, not treatment actually, can you reduce the spacing? I mean, no time, I'm not referring to your research. I'm asking, what is your idea? Can we change in future? In future, can we do research like that, like a change in spacing with the feedback?
The density wise,
Yeah.
can increase the density. There may be possibility with that density. But idea.
Your idea, what do you think with your experience?
that kind of experiments, density wise to this tracking and the plant basis. There are specific special methods we can use for that process to realize that density is thing. In my time, this is actually not a question, a suggestion. I think we have used this actually for statistical point of view. We have actually we have used unit separation techniques and ANOVA for all the analysis. But according to the data, especially for the number of leaves and number of pillars, so that kind of data, I think that method is not good because number of pillars and number of leaves are very low, and we cannot expect any normal distribution in that data. So basically, it is incorrect of using that method. So you can reanalyze the same data using the appropriate maybe non-parametric method or any categorical data analysis method. Sometimes you may get different results.
of the publication. So if we see the results for fresh weight of fruits, then so you say in P1, if the letter is B, all the other three treatments are AB, then last two treatments are P5 and P6 A. So statistically, there is no difference between from P2 to 6. So if we consider the initial weight of the what we row as a cost, I think the result is right. So in contrast to what Saman Mali and Siddhartha said, if we consider, I agree with their suggestion. You should have increased some more than 30 grams also. But if we consider the number of grams, so the result is you can get the same yield from P2. I think P2 is lesser rate, right? So P2 is lesser rate and P6 is the 30 grams. So basically, what you say is you can get the same result or in harvest from much lesser initial weight. So while accepting their suggestions that we should have go beyond 30 grams, but I think this result is very valid because that saves some like considerable grams from your at the cultivating stage. So for pillars and other measurements, you should have used non-parametric data analysis. But for harvest grams, I think this is very valid finding. So I congratulate you.
Yeah, that, yeah. 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 So same roots and rhizomes. You can increase the density of it with the less amount of heat. You can increase the density. Yeah. So we appreciate your study actually. Yeah.
And I think that's what you have done is I appreciate you, but I think you can do more research. Something. I think it is for another 2-3 years and get some better conclusion.
Okay, thank you very much.
So I have one clarification. In your paper, you have mentioned that in your methodology, you have said, I think in your paper also, you have established the seeds on the month of July. Is it correct? Yes. You have established the month. It started in July, but we know our recommendation is from March to May, and we know when the planting date goes, if we delay the planting, the yield will be low. That is why we ask the farmers to initiate the cultivation at the very the start of the season of March. So yes, but then my issue is that the results are reliable. Yes, on the time period. What the practical scenario is, we know if we delay the planting, the yield will be low. That is the issue.
But it will affect all the treatments. It's not a problem for that actually. Yeah, all the treatments in that. Yeah. It may be very lovely, but the results is can be. So I think time is up. So thank you very much for Barnaby. So next study is focused on the understanding the factors contributing to delayed potting of cinnamon plants at nurseries and the unproductive preparedness of farmers for timely cultivation. This delay is primarily attributed to the high price and scarcity of seeds and lack of awareness among the nursery owners. The study highlighted the need for proactive measures to educate farmers about the benefits of early cultivation and facilitate early potting practices at nurseries is the for cinnamon cultivation. So this title of this study is the analytics on delayed plant potting and late cultivation of cinnamon. Cases and strategies for improvement. The presenter is Mr. Dinesh Rangoda. Please.
Good afternoon, distinguished chief guest, Director General, ladies and gentlemen. The research paper I am presenting today is about cinnamon. The topic of our research is delayed plant potting and late cultivation of cinnamon. I'll be discussing the causes and strategies for improvement. You can see the authors list. We all are from Department of Export Agriculture. So cinnamon is a spice vital to Sri Lanka economy and culture. Department of Export Agriculture is the main government institution who bears the responsibility to uplift the cinnamon industry in Sri Lanka. DEA produces around 20 million cinnamon plants per year with the help of around 800 private-owned registered nurseries and several DEA central nurseries. Cinnamon mainly grows in southern and western provinces. DEA has made some efforts recently to expand the cinnamon cultivation to non-traditional areas also. I'll be discussing today about successful cinnamon field establishment. The point I am emphasizing is, if farmers did not start the cultivation with onset of the monsoons itself, they will be losing some rainfall, and that will badly affect the success of the cinnamon field establishment rate. So this is a problem. We generally know this. I will discuss this with more statistically, numerically. Also, I will be discussing one main reason to this late field establishment, which is the late production of cinnamon plants in the nurseries. Let's see more in next slides. Let me list out the objectives to assess the extent of delay in potting cinnamon plants at nurseries, along with the reasons behind it, to evaluate the timeline of field establishment of cinnamon plants by farmers in comparison to the onset of the rainy season, to recommend measures and interventions that can be taken to enhance the timely and successful establishment of cinnamon cultivation in Sri Lanka. This research is mainly a quantitative secondary data analysis. It used large data sets which were collected by the Progress Monitoring Division of DEA. These data include nursery statistics about plant production, plant issue to farmers, those numbers, calendar dates, also dates and quantities of received farmers' applications, field inspection and other planting statistics. In addition to DEA Progress Monitoring Unit data, I have included rainfall statistics to gain more insights. Apart from the secondary data analysis, I have conducted several interviews, mainly with subject matter specialists and some nurserymen and farmers too. Their opinion and perceptions also included and incorporated when I come to my conclusions. This analysis include time series methods, descriptive statistics and various calculations. Okay, this graph shows number of plants that the DEA have issued to farmers historically. As you can see, the numbers are huge. In 2021, DEA has issued almost 26 million plants, cinnamon plants. In last year also, they have distributed more than 18 million plants. Main reasons for fluctuation of these numbers is funding DEA getting from the government. With the magnitude of these plant quantities, you can understand even a small improvement at DEA level will result huge benefits to the cinnamon industry, country, and economy. This is also a critical graph of my study. This says only 53% of plants are being potted at nursery level at the end of the month June. Later you will see, even though it is difficult to increase the percentage of plants potted at the end of May, it is quite possible to shift good part of July plants to June, which will have remarkable benefits when the plant issue is being done at the month of September and October. If plants potted later than mid-July, there is a risk of getting those plants certified and issued in that year. Not just due to end of the rainfall, but also December is end of the DEA financial year. And most probably, circulars do not come to start the next year program in January. In this graph, you can see receiving applications and inspecting lands are being done throughout the year. There is a lag effect to inspect a land and to get plants after successful field inspection around 45 days and 56 days respectively if outliers are omitted. Not like applications and field inspections, which is done year round, plants are distributed only in 2 peaks. I am more concerned about Maha season here, because in Yala season, you only can distribute what you have brought forward from previous year. So this says, I'm talking about the line chart here, from that 70.7 of plants were distributed in the last 2 months. However, if we see the way rainfall received in the same season, only 57% rainfall is in last 2 months. So therefore, we have calculated the rainfall that the plants would have received if 50% of the plants were issued in the previous month, sums up to around 1,200 cubic meters of water. So due to not getting this rainfall, we see less establishment rates in newly planted cultivations. Shifting plant issue towards the very end of the year makes DEA financial settlements more difficult too. So delayed in potting the cinnamon seedlings at nurseries happens due to high price of the cinnamon seeds at the beginning of the season. It says it's almost 40% higher than the normal rate. Also, in early days, seeds are less available. Cinnamon planting is mainly done in Gaul and Mawatha districts. Nurseries in peripheral areas, they receive this seeds availability information little later. That also makes a little late. Shifting nurserymen to pot cinnamon plants in the month of May is difficult. Shifting potting from month of July to June is, however, very possible with DA officials focus and facilitation. If we discuss the reasons for farmers not preparing lands before monsoon starts, the first reason is difficulty in land preparation before the rain soaks the land. Lack of knowledge of its consequences also causes farmers not preparing lands before the monsoon starts. Shifting farmers' land preparation from November, December to September, October is possible. DA field officers have the vital role of educating farmers on the importance of getting full rainfall for cinnamon plants by early cultivation and to have better establishment chances is quite important. So, to conclude my presentation, there is a significant delay in potting cinnamon plants with only a small percentage of potted in May and June. Unpreparedness of farmers for timely cinnamon cultivation, need for interventions to improve early potting practices at nurseries and enhance farmers' understanding of the importance of timely cultivation. There's a need for DEA officials to play a proactive role in facilitating early potting practices among nurseries and educating farmers about the benefits of early cultivation. With that, I conclude my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dinesh.
Good afternoon, Chief Guest, Director General.
Now the presentation is open for the discussion. So I think it's I open so mainly the administrative text and so you can ask any question from the person. Thank you for your very good presentation. Actually, this is not a question. In your case, in this study, according to the study, to get the cinnamon plant in early, if we can get it early stages, then we can plant them at early stages. That is your point here. And my question is, it completely depends on the seed availability. And, if there are any way, can we fix it for this? We can't do it. What can you say? What can you say about this? That seed availability during throughout the year. For this, what is it?
Another way of looking at it, but practically at nursery level, the way nurserymen plant for cinnamon is depend on not only seeds availability at the cinnamon trees. That's also a main factor that unless we have a research method to make available seed at the year round, it's not possible unless that research is being done and introduced. But apart from that, let's say we can't change that. Apart from that, there's a quite big possibility to persuade nurserymen by the officials to start early. So that's the point I'm emphasizing here. Okay. You highlighted an important point. but delay parent reduce establishment like that. No? But you have to, it is correct, but experiment as an experiment, you have to prove that with figures, delays, when delay planting, how much establishment rate, early planting, what is the increase of establishment, like that you have to prove by experiment. Because I notice your points are okay, but not like with experiment procedure. Delay, then educate people, it will reduce establishment like that. But you have to prove how delay, how educate people. What is the rate educate? How many people educate earlier and later? Like that, you have to prove by data, by figures. Otherwise, it is otherwise it is analysis and only